fellow collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Bebop and Rocksteady from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles line from JoyToy. So these are 4-inch figures, and previously I took a look at the 4 Turtles, which of course were released first. And when I saw the pictures for these, they just looked absolutely phenomenal, and I really loved the 4 Turtles, so I decided to grab these. Now they are a little bit on the pricey side. I think they're around $40 a piece, which is a lot for a 4-inch figure, but they're super detailed, super, articulated, painted, so many accessories, all that kind of good stuff. So I definitely had to get Bebop and Rocksteady. Now, I'm not really sure if I'm going to continue on with the line. We've seen pictures for the next release, which is Shredder and some foot soldiers. And Shredder looks to be heavily inspired by like the 2003 look and design from that series. So I've always liked that version of Shredder, and I wouldn't mind having it. But I also kind of like the more classic, purple and blue look. So I haven't decided yet, but definitely really excited for these two. So we can see here, we have tons of accessories here in the packaging. They kind of come shrink wrapped. Bebop does not have his glasses on just yet and looks really, really angry. He has pupilless eyes, which I think is kind of hysterical. Looks like he's about to go Super Saiyan or something like that. But taking a look at the back here, you can see some of the accessories. We have the glasses, he has a guitar, he has his classic gun, and like the trash can lid shield. Has a little display stand, everything like that. So pretty cool. And then with Rocksteady, it looks like he comes with a boombox and sewer shield. I'm assuming, if we take a look at the back, yeah, just like the original toy, he's got his knife, he's got the manhole cover shield, he's got a little base as well, plus a boombox and gun. So really look great. I'm excited for these. I'm going to go ahead, get them out of the packaging here, and we'll take a closer look. So just right out of the packaging, these two are fantastic. Honestly, just as good as the Turtles, maybe even a little better, but we'll go ahead and get into it. I really like both of these guys. So we'll start over here with Bebop. So right off the bat, I have him on these little display stands. You can see this just looks like a manhole cover, says City Sewer, but they really don't have any trouble standing on their own, but I just think it's nice that they include one of these for each of the characters. But they also have these pieces here for like a larger base, and I've already connected these. But just like the Turtles had, they have this like one quadrant of a larger base. I'm assuming Shredder and the Foot Soldier are going to come with the other two. And then you can put all 4 of these together. And then there are plenty of little pegs here to kind of, display them all over the place, which I think is really cool. These are different than the ones that the Turtles came with. They almost formed kind of a shuriken. And so this is definitely more of just like a, city area, sewer area, where it just has like, a manhole cover or a grate or something here in the center, and then you just have this nice brick pattern, but really nicely detailed, has a nice black wash and everything here. Obviously the bottom's a little plain, but doesn't need to be. It's the bottom. So yeah, these are really cool. I like this quite a bit. And you could even just peg these together and stand these two guys on here if you wanted to. Maybe put this against the back of a bookshelf or something. But yeah, really cool base. So depending on how much space you want to take up, you kind of have options, which I think is kind of cool. So really like this. But let's jump into Bebop here. So it turns out that his glasses, I guess, had just fallen off. They were just loose in the packaging. They were kind of in the bottom of the area where he was in, so I don't think they were meant to be packed separately. But they just peg in. He just has 2 little holes on the side of his head, and you just peg them in there. Really nice detail. I think the mohawk with the little tail at the end looks really fantastic. Little gold paint there for the ring at the end. The head looks amazing. You can open and close the mouth, so you can close it up, and then it opens to about there. I'm kind of hoping it would open a little bit more, but honestly, it's fine. I mean, they even painted like his gums, which I think is really cool. The teeth are obviously painted, looks really nice. His nose ring there looks really good. All of this detail here, so you have this like loose fitting vest here. So if you really wanted to take this off, you probably could. I'm not going to, and I wouldn't recommend it just because it would be hard to get it over the arms. But it just kind of loosely fits him. He's got his little necklace there. Really looks sharp. I love the trash can lid shield, just like the original toy, as well as this gun, which is done in a really nice kind of metallic gunmetal gray. A little bit of purple there for accent colors. But just really, all in all, really cool looking gun. I've always liked the design of this. And you can see he has a kind of trigger finger hand over here, and then kind of a grasping hand over here for the shield. That's how he comes in the box, but they do include trigger finger hands for both hands and grasping hands for both hands, as well as a few others. Rocksteady just has the set of 2, so 2 trigger finger hands and 2 gripping hands, but Bebop has some other options. We'll get into them a little bit later, but just really, really looks phenomenal. I love this quite a bit. I'm assuming the reason they made his eyes kind of pupilless is just so that the white would kind of shine through the glasses, because the original toy, I think they were just kind of painted white, so I think that's what they're going for there, but really works, really looks good. Head's on a ball joint, so you can move this all around at the base of the neck. There's also some movement at the base of the skull, so you can kind of tilt that, spin that around. Really, really works nice. You have a hinge and a rotation at the shoulder. Then you have a hinge and a rotation at the elbow. The hands are kind of on like mini ball joints because you can pop them off. That's how you attach the other hand, so you can see decent range of motion there. You have ball joints in the kind of middle of the diaphragm or abdomen area, as well as at the waist. So you get a nice range of motion there. You can see the detail, the painted chain belt that he's got going on, that goes all the way around. And on the back of the vest, it says Turtle Hunter. He's got his iconic turtle shell shoulder pads. They're just like loose-fittingly attached to the vest, so they just kind of rest on the shoulders, which is nice because that way they don't get in the way of articulation at all, and you can just kind of move them around as you need to. For the hips, you can kick pretty far forward, pretty far out to the side. Can't really go back too much just because of the way he's got kind of a butt flap, so you can see how that is. They even recreated the brace here for his one knee, which is really cool, but it doesn't get in the way of the knee's articulation in any way because it's kind of a softer, more malleable plastic, so it can kind of move around as it needs to, which is really neat. Of course, you have a thigh swivel as well. You have a hinge at the ankle, as well as tilt side to side, and you even have a bend here at the toe. So really, really nice articulation on these. I would say they pretty much have the same articulation as each other. So when we get to Rocksteady, it's going to be very, very similar. But just to point that out, that they pretty much have the same articulation. But yeah, he looks great. I mean, this really came out really fantastically. I'm going to go ahead and pop this back on just to give him a little bit more stability there. But the other accessories he comes with, he also has the kind of classic drill gun that the original toy came with. So you can swap that out for this blaster if you like. And that is pretty nicely painted, and the drill bit actually does spin. He also has this like metal pipe piece to just bash with, I guess. Yeah, not really much to this, but it's very nicely detailed and molded, and, you know, it's a metal pipe. He also has this crazy guitar, and the guitar strap is a bandolier, which I think is a really nice touch. That's really nicely detailed. You have this double guitar here. Very, very cool. It can fit. Oh, I'll just kind of thread this through. Sometimes it gets a little caught on the ponytail and the mohawk, but you can get it over there and have this, you know, have him rocking out with this if you want. Really fits nice. Looks great. I really like this. It's probably something I won't use for display too often, but it's really neat that it's included, and it looks fantastic. So let me just get this off here again. And then we'll go through the other hand options he has. So like I mentioned previously, he does have a gripping hand for the other hand. So if you want him to have two gripping hands. And then he also has, whoops, that's the wrong one. Here we go. The trigger figure hand. So whichever, you know, if you want him to dual wield guns, you just want to switch it up, have the gun in this hand, have the shield in this hand. You can absolutely pull that off. That's the wrong one again. Here we go. Here is the gripping hand and the trigger hand. Now this one that I keep bringing up, he has like a brass knuckle hand, which I think is really cool. So you can switch that out. He's also got like a punk rocker hand. So you wanted to be holding the guitar and kind of doing like a punk rocker hand. I think that's really cool as well. And then I think this hand is supposed to be for strumming the guitar. I think that's what that's supposed to be. So I think that's really cool. Kind of a specific guitar strumming hand. So, oh, he actually has a full set of brass knuckle hands. I'm sorry, I missed that previously. So he's got a lot going on. I think that's really cool. You can have a full set of gripping hands, full set of trigger hands, a full set of brass knuckle hands, and then you have kind of his full set of guitar hands. Like he's strumming with this hand and then kind of rocking out with this hand. So really cool. I think that's awesome. It's a ton of accessories. You know, you have the two basses, you have the accessories he's got in his hands right now, the guitar, the drill gun, the pipe, all those different hands. So he comes fully stacked. Like he is absolutely amazing. Now, Rocksteady does not get shortchanged. Rocksteady, I think, also looks amazing. This giant gun that they gave him, again, very reminiscent of the original toy. And then he's got the city sewer Manhole cover shield, again, very reminiscent of the original toy. They've recreated those really, really well. They look fantastic. Head sculpt on him also looks amazing. He's got that helmet with the goggles there. His mouth can also open. Again, not as wide as I would like, but still can open and close there. So you have a decent range. And again, the teeth are all painted. The gums are painted. And he's got that same articulation at the base of the skull and the base of the neck. Then he's got these kind of two bandoliers. So he's got this grenade here, which you can actually pop off of there if you want him to hold it, as well as like this bomb here on the back that you can pop off if you want him to hold it. Let me take the sword or the knife out here just to make it a little bit easier. So that can pop off. So if you want him to utilize any of these weapons, you can absolutely do that. They just pop right back in. He's got the little turtle shell there. Now, I think the original toy had one on both hips, but I'm actually fine with it just being on one. I felt like it did kind of get in the way a little bit. He does have this giant knife as well, which of course you could pop into his hand, or you can pop it here on this little sheath on the back, which is part of the bandolier. I really like that, because in the cartoon, he always had kind of like a wooden knife or sword on the back. And so I think that's really cool that they kind of reference that here by being able to store this on the back, but still utilize it as a weapon, which is really cool. Articulation-wise, again, pretty much the same as Bebop. You have the swivel, you have the hinge at the shoulder, same here for the elbow, and then, of course, the hands can move around as in the ball joint. You got the two ball joints in kind of the mid-diaphragm and waist, and then you have the same hip movement and thigh swivel, double-jointed knees again, just like Bebop, and then the ankle and the foot has the same hinge at the toe. So I would say, yeah, they pretty much have the exact same articulation, but very, very cool. He looks amazing. They both really do. I mean, all of the, just look at the detail, the paint applications, the articulation, all the little like extra pieces hanging off his bandoliers and his waist and everything. And you got the bomb and just all of it really, really perfect. I just think they look so good. Now for accessories for Rocksteady, he's a little bit less loaded than Bebop. Again, he does have the trigger figure hand for the other hand and then the gripping hand, so you can give him full set of both, or one or the other, or just switch it up if you like that. So he only has these two extra hands, but he does have this large boom box, which is actually kind of cool. I mean, you can use it as a boom box, but you might be looking at it and saying, there's a little bit more to this. You can swivel this down. It's got this little kind of shoulder arch here, and then you can open up this side of it, and it comes with this little rocket that you can pop in. Now, you can kind of pop it like all the way in if you want to close it up and store it in there, or you can kind of, load it halfway so maybe it looks like it's firing or just, ready to fire or something like that. It doesn't have like a stopping point, but I noticed that you can kind of put it there and it won't necessarily move around too much. So depending on how you want to display it. But yeah, so it's a boombox slash missile launcher, which I just think is really, really neat. Just such a fun idea. So you can utilize it in either way. So it's a larger accessory and a little bit more dense, which I think is why, Bebop got a little bit more treatment. But also because of, like, his guitar, they wanted to give him a set of, like, guitar playing hands. And also because I think the original toy had the brass knuckles. They wanted to do that as well. So a little bit less in terms of set of hands for Rocksteady. Bebop definitely comes with more hand options, but both of the accessories, loadouts on both of these are just amazing, and I really love both of these figures. JoyToy's doing some amazing work with these. So I wanted to bring in one of the turtles just for scale. As you can see, Bebop and Rocksteady are a little bit bigger than Leonardo here. Now, I feel like Leonardo is probably slightly less than 4 inches. These two are probably slightly more, but that totally makes sense. They're in scale with each other. Bebop and Rocksteady have always been bigger than the turtles, so I think this scale totally works. I'll be interested to see how big Shredder is. I feel like Shredder should maybe be somewhere in between these two, like definitely taller than the turtles, but maybe not as big as Bebop and Rocksteady. And the Foot Soldier should probably be a little bit closer to the turtle size, but I'll have to wait and see, like I said, if I decide to get those or have them in hand. But I think this scaling here totally works, and they just look phenomenal. And then just for fun, I wanted to throw in one of these. This is a set of 5 points that Mezco did recently based on their comic book, designs. And I absolutely love these 5-point figures. I didn't do a video on them, but they're so fun. They're very basic, but they have interchangeable arms and legs and everything. And they're just great figures. And I feel like the scaling here, not as good, but definitely kind of works as well. really, I just wanted to show these off and just say it's a great time to be, a fan of 1/18th scale for TMNT stuff right now. Honestly, these are even better than I expected. I absolutely love these. Now, I really liked the turtles, and so I didn't expect these to be bad in any way. I really thought they'd be phenomenal. But just every time I get one of these JoyToy releases, I'm just absolutely blown away with the number of accessories, the amount of detail, both molded and painted, the articulation, just the sculpting. Everything about these is just top notch. They are definitely pricier than you'd probably want them to be, but I feel like they're worth it. I mean, like I said, I don't know how far I'm going to go into this line because, at certain point, the price is going to outweigh my interest in the character. But I do feel like for the core characters, the Turtles, Bebop, Rocksteady, I'll probably end up getting a Foot Soldier and Shredder if I'm being honest with myself. I feel like the core set you'd want represented here. I don't know how far it's going to go. I don't know if they're going to do playsets, vehicles. I kind of doubt it. I think they'll probably just stick to a couple figures and call it a day, but who knows? We'll see. But the turtles were great. These two might be even better, honestly, because they're a little bigger. The joints just feel a little bit more fluid. Things are a little bit easier to get into hands and things like that. And I think it just stems from them just being slightly bigger, and then that makes the arms a little bit bigger, the joints a little bit bigger. Everything just feels a lot more solid and fluid. Not to say the turtles were bad in any way. They are not. But these guys might just have a little bit of an edge because they're a little bit bigger, a little bit more solid, a little bit more stable. But yeah, all in all, I could not be happier with these. If you have the means and you're a huge turtle fan like me, I cannot recommend these enough. I'm so happy with them. And because these were so great, I might end up dipping my toe into the waters more when it comes to Shredder and the Foot Soldier. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, cannot recommend these enough. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, thank you so much for watching.